If you're looking for a podcast that packs in sound property advice, as well as offering you an insight into making the world of property effective and ultimately work for you, you're in the right place. Hosted by Arsh Ellahi, the original property rebel. He's written an Amazon bestseller, created the Property Investor app, the UK's first, and is an experienced property mentor. More importantly, he talks the talk and walks the walk.
Hi, welcome to another episode of The Property Rebel with your host Arsh Ellahi. And in today's session, we're going to be talking about purchasing a ready-made HMO versus actually converting a single let into a HMO. Before we do that, I want to remind you, this podcast is sponsored by the Property Investor app, which is the UK's first property investment platform, which showcases all kinds of deals all over the UK. Whether you're looking for a below market value deal, the rent-to-rent deal, the lease option deal, we've got them all there. Now, there are 3 ways to get involved. Yes, that's right, 3 ways. You can go to the website, which is propertyinvestораpp.co.uk. If you've got a smartphone, go to the App Store, type in Property Investor and download it from there. Finally, now, I know you've all got this. You've all got WhatsApp. Don't lie to me. I know you've all got WhatsApp. Go to your WhatsApp communities, search for Property Investor app, and join our channel. We release all the properties on the app into our WhatsApp channel so you can see them for completely free. Now, let's get started. Question: do you prefer to buy a ready-made income-producing HMO, or do you prefer to buy a property which is like a single let and you want to convert it into HMO? We're going to talk through the pros and cons. Now, I've got to say that there's no right or wrong answer with this. And I've also got to apologize because it sounds like that there's a kid that's being killed in the background, but I'm in a co-working space, so we've got to move with the times. Let's look at the pros and cons. Now, naturally, when I'm looking for a property to purchase, ideally, I want something that I'm going to be able to get it generating from day one. So from the moment that I complete, ideally, I want it to be income generating from day one. That sounds familiar with lots of property investors. There's pros and cons for that. Now, let's talk straight away from the pros. The pros are, as I've just mentioned, that the moment that you complete on it, it should be income generating from day one or have the ability to generate income from day one. And what I mean by that, it could be that it's already a HMO, or you previously had a HMO license in place, but there may not be any tenants in there. Now, all you have to do is start advertising the property and hopefully get the property occupied. That is, from an investor's point of view, the perfect scenario. Now, if you're purchasing a property with tenants already in place, it's a great situation to be in. However, sometimes there's a bit of a transition period. So you've got to figure out how much the tenants have been paying. What period did they pay for? How much have they paid the previous landlord? How much is then owed back to you? How do you reconcile that? So there are a few questions that need to be asked, and this would normally be done through the legal process. So what would normally happen, as I've just mentioned, let's just imagine that you got a 6-bed HMO. Each of the tenants are paying the old landlord, but the payment periods are different. So one may be paying from the 1st of the month, one may be paying from the 15th of the month, one may be paying from the 18th of the month. If you complete on the 1st of the next month, there'll be some tenants which have paid the last landlord for a period which will be due back to you. So your solicitor should almost be creating a record of accounts of how much should actually be coming back to you on completion, because this rent is now for those tenants for that period. And that's a great scenario. Now, I'm going to give you the negative about buying a property with current tenants in, because you never really know what's going on in the situation of the landlord selling the property. When you look at a property on Rightmove, it doesn't say. It will tell you that the property is income generating, and let's just imagine 6 rooms generating £500 per room. That is £3,000 a month. That's £36,000 a year. On paper, it sounds great. However, what happens if you inherit 6 problem tenants? Whereas if you purchase a property that's vacant, you don't have that issue, but also you don't have that income from day one. So you've got to look at it from a balanced point of view. If you purchase something with tenants in, you've got to expect that not all 6 tenants are going to be angels. You may inherit a few issues. So some of the tenants may not be paying rent. Some of the tenants may be withholding rent. Some tenants may have had a history of rent arrears. Some of the tenants may be quite hostile. Some of the tenants may be problem tenants. I've come across this over 25 years. I've come across so many things like this. But believe it or not, as we say, where there's muck, there's money. If the property was income generating and they've got 6 angel tenants where they've never been in rent arrears, they've kept the property immaculate, everything's been fine, you've got to ask yourself, why would the owner have sold it unless they're looking to retire or something like that? Naturally, there will be some form of pain and issues. Now, I'll give you a scenario. I got contacted from a property investor actually looking for property off the app. And he says, oh, she goes, even though I want to buy one of your properties, I want to ask you about a scenario that I've just done. He bought a property through auction. Now, he had to buy it blind because he could not see the property prior to auction. They were not conducting any viewings. Now, for me, straight away, that's a red flag. Now, he goes, but on paper, it looks fantastic. It looks like it's generating £51,000 a year. 6-bed HMO, £51,000 a year. There's my second red flag, because it seems like very high rent. And I know Wolverhampton. I know that none of my 6-bed HMOs are generating £51,000 a year. So my first question is, have you seen the tenancy agreements? He goes, there were no tenancy agreements in the legal pack. There's my third red flag. Have you seen the rent statements? No. There's my fourth red flag. Now, and then we go through. I said, have you been to see the property? He goes, no. There's my fifth red flag. Who's managing the property? He doesn't know. There's my sixth red flag. Can you answer questions throughout the legal process so you can get this information? The seller actually put a condition in the contract saying that you could not raise any inquiries to the transaction and you have to complete within 28 days. There's my seventh red flag. I'm not saying that all these things can't be overcome, but they are definitely obstacles. So anyway, he has purchased it, and believe it or not, he got it for a good price. Apparently it's generating £51,000. He purchased it for £204,000. So you can see the attraction. Straight away, based on that, it's a 25% yield. Who wouldn't buy that? As they say, devil's in the detail. So anyway, he's exchanged on it. He's got 28 days to complete, and he's only got a week left, and he still doesn't know who the tenants are, still doesn't know who's managing it. He's found the property, believe it or not, for sale on Rightmove. So the previous owner was trying to sell it previously through a national agent, and even we've spoken to that national agent, and they don't know who's managing it. So there's something very, very off about this. And I'm telling you this because if you're buying a ready-made scenario, you will come across issues like this. The pros are that it will generate income from day one. Negatives are you just don't know what you're inheriting. You just generally don't know what's going to come up in the legal paperwork or what that tenant or how that tenant's been performing or behaving. Because let's face it, landlord's not going to say to you that he's not going to tell you that, you know what, I've got 6 absolute nightmares, because naturally he wants to sell the property or they want to sell the property. Now let's go on to the second scenario. Before I do that, let's just quickly touch on the financials. Now, if you buy a ready-made HMO, it's a lot less capital intensive than if you go and buy a single let and then convert it, because you're not spending the money on conversion. But also equally, you may be buying the property at a premium. So let's just imagine that a single let is, let's say, £150,000. Because this property is now a 6-bed HMO and it's a ready-made HMO, they may be selling it with a bit of a premium. So it could be £180,000. Generally speaking, there's an average between a 10 and 20% uplift. What would happen is that the owner would be selling it with an uplift. And if there's areas which are like Article 4 areas, there will definitely be an uplift. So you've got to take into consideration, yes, okay, you're buying it for £180,000. Based on that, you're going to get 75% leverage, 25% of £180,000. Quick maths suggests that's around 45,000. And then you've got to pay your stamp duty, your legals. So let's say all in, you're going to be around £60,000. Now, let's use the same scenario. If you go and buy a single let, it's not going to be any income generating from day one. Now, whilst when you purchase the property, you're then going to have to convert the property, which means that to convert it into a 6-bed HMO, it could take you, maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, which means that 3 months with no income. On top of that, you've then got to spend the money on converting the property. Now, to convert a 6-bed HMO, let's just work on the average around £5,000 per room, if you want to do it to a good standard. Or maybe it's slightly more. Let's work on 5,000. So you've bought it for £150,000. Now, 25% of £150,000. Oh God, this is going to test me. I'm going to say £37,500. However, on top of that, you've then got your acquisition costs. Let's say on average around, between £5,000 and £10,000. On top of that, you've then got your £30,000 conversion costs. So you've got 30, I think I said 37.5, plus 10,000, 47.5, plus another 30,000, so 77.5. So when you look at the difference between the two, it's a lot less capital intensive to purchase a ready-made, even though you're paying more for it than if you were to purchase single let and convert it. On top of that, you've got a period of 3 months, maybe slightly longer, to convert the property, and you've got to deal with property management, the renovation of the property, etc. So these are all the things that you've got to take into consideration. However, because you purchased the property below, you've got a better chance of refinancing and getting some of your money out on the property that you've converted, as opposed to purchasing the property that was already ready-made, because you've already paid the premium on the one that's ready-made. So I'm trying to give you a very balanced view of how that works. There's no right or wrong. I've seen lots of people that have purchased properties that are ready-made. We sell so many ready-made HMOs for the reasons that I mentioned in this podcast from the outset. It's income generating from day one. It's less capital intensive. These are big factors for people. And especially if they're buying this as a passive income, they don't want to keep tying up so much more cash on converting. And also, you've got to take into consideration the convenience factor that they're not converting the property. They're having to deal with builders managing it and going through that whole process. Because as you know, builders, as lovely as they are, they sometimes run over. Have you ever come across that before? A builder that sometimes runs over on their timescale? Don't know. Some people says it happens. Yes, it definitely happens. Almost that every project will run over. So pros and cons for each. All depends on your appetite and what you want to do. Naturally, you'll be able to purchase something that's not generating any income a lot cheaper than something that is generating income. Or if you are buying it at a discount and it's generating income, you kind of want to ask the questions why. So that's kind of good recap and a conclusion as to where we are for this podcast. Really hope that you've enjoyed it. As always, go and check us out. So as I mentioned, we've got loads of ready-made HMOs on the Property Investor app. Go and check it out. Go to the website, propertyinvestораpp.co.uk. Go to the App Store on smartphone and download Property Investor. Finally, don't lie to me. I know you've got WhatsApp. Go and join our WhatsApp channel by searching Property Investor app. We're becoming a lot more social on YouTube and social media platforms. Join me under the handle of Arsh Ellahi. Find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all under my name of Arsh Ellahi. And you can join and follow me, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube under the handle of Arsh Ellahi. So guys, really hope that you've enjoyed that. Really hope that you've taken something away from it, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Thank you and bye-bye.
The large majority of people make a positive change if they take immediate action. So act now. Download the Property Investor app and join Arsh on his social media channels to excel your property journey.